I want to thank my daddy very much for this privilege he's given me to come and share with us. I count it as a great privilege. I don't know, most times when I go for seminars like this, I try to be careful not to be saying praise the Lord. You know, so that this will, but I think we're much of brethren here, so praise the Lord. You know, in order not to waste much of our time, by the grace of God, I'll be talking with us this afternoon on unveiling the hidden treasures in the telecommunication business in Nigeria. From the very beginning, telecom has been, because if you go to the beginning, God created the world with His word. So we've been talking since then. So we've been communicating. So that's also another proof to make us understand that no matter how, telecommunication is not going to die. It will just keep on growing, but it will just be reinventing itself. If we remember from in history, you discover that men has always find different ways to communicate to each other. In those stone age, in those back time, you find out that if they try to communicate, they have to gather stones and smoke. So they make a very large smoke at a very long distance. There are some people that will be spotting it. When they see that smoke, they light another smoke. That's how they communicate. And thank God we're not in those age anymore. Alexander Bell came up with the telecommunication where you just find out that you just be using one rope. It was just this cup thing. From one location to another, you'll be able to talk with somebody. That is the beginning of, or the invention of telecommunications technology. There you find out that it grew from just one end to one end. It went to public switch, which is the PSTN. That's where Nitel, they fell in. Even when Nitel came, people, before Nitel even came, even when Bell started, if they say, you'll be able to talk with your neighbor, the next door without your neighbor seeing you. I know those days they will be saying it's a lie, that is not possible. Bell came out, he cracked that. As if that was not enough, we have the normal deck set telephones that like, okay, within a particular community, you can begin to communicate. They grew from community, they went to state level. From state level, they went to national. AT&T took over, and like, from there, telecommunication is growing. Now we got to Nitel. Oh, everybody's like, oh, what a great technology, what a great technology. So when I say MTN, Nitel, I try to bring us to, because there are lots of telecommunication in those class. So why I say Nitel, so that it's close. I can remember then when, if sometimes my dad wants to make an international call, he has to go to Nitel office. That's why I found that there's telephone in the house. So if these days, then you'll be asking questions. Why do you have to now go to Nitel office? But now we understood the reason why. Sometimes there are some locations you can't call outside that particular state or outside that particular local government without you going to Nitel or press a particular dial note. They may tell you to press a particular number before you can gain access. Why are those ones happening? It's simply because I'll just throw a little light on that. It's a switching technology, switching in the sense that when they go to Nitel, or in those days, when you call from your house, if you need to call somebody in Lagos, sometimes you have to call Nitel office. So it's Nitel that will now patch you to the number you're calling in Lagos. Why? I'm not going depth into the technologies behind it, but I need to open our minds on it will help us as we go along. You find out that what they normally do is a switch. So they remove a particular switch. If you need to talk with somebody in Lagos, they remove. There's a pin they remove from their switch and plug into the Lagos line. They call the Lagos office, Nitel in Lagos. So Nitel in Lagos will not be able to patch the local call or the person that they need to talk with in Lagos. So you find out that you now begin to see so much hangovers before you get to Lagos. But then it was a great technology. But today, Nitel is obsolete. Yes, not just because of the management, but simply because of the technology. It's growing. When Intel was there, we had MTN, GSM is coming, because then you find out that when you see people using this cellular phone, wow, those are big boards, you know. And then we had like record shows that we had just 25,000 persons using those cellular phones that were active. Then cellular phone, you see, I can remember when I see people using their cellular phones, and like we normally close to come and look at them. Look at this man is using a cellular phone. You know, if anybody tell us then that the shoemaker today will be using a mobile phone, we'll say it's a lie. But that's technology. And one thing if you see in this trend is no matter how hard you try, you can't stop technology from growing. So what does that bring us? So when we're talking of investing into the telecom industry, you know what you're talking about. Today, Nigeria is widely recognized as one of the major markets for telecommunication business opportunities in the world, with a population of over 140 million persons. Nigeria remains Africa's most populous nations and at home, and in fact, home to at least 1/5 of the population of Africa, which is that's just Africa. Just Nigeria we're talking about now. Not only that, Nigeria also is a country. This is a country that is also blessed with abundance of natural resource and is the 8th largest producer of oil. So that shows you that look, there's money in this country. There's so much in this country. But not to waste so much of our time, I just want to just give us those figures so that we'll have an overview of so when we begin to talk of the potentials in the telecommunication business in Nigeria, we know what we are talking about. The national teledensity states that 65% with about 89 million, connected lines end in 2010. So in 2000, we discovered that in 2000, because the revolution in the telecommunication industry started from 2000, let's say like 1999, 2000 thereabouts, or like we say the main from 2000. As at 1999 or 2000, record states that we had just only 400,000 connected lines. That's what we had in this country, a country of over 1.something billion. So you now discover that out of 0.something Nigerians, just half of them are just the ones that just have a telephone number. But today, record is showing us much more that the lines are growing, because as at 2010, we discovered that we have 89 million lines that are connected in any of the networks, maybe MTN, Glo, Airtel, and the rest. So that shows us that you could see the growth within 10 years, 2000, and this is 2010. You could see the massive growth in the telecommunication industry. So now, what is in for us? Because it looks like the big boys are the ones that already own these telecommunication companies. Then we boys, growing big boys, it's like we have no stake in it. No. There's a future. There is a great potential in the telecommunication industry in Nigeria today. Now, existingly, what we have, like certain channels that I find out that we can make money in the telecommunication industry to patch. You may not own a telecommunication company, you may not be the owner of MTN today, but there are certain value-added services that today you can be providing that you can be making money from. I'm not going to talk to us about selling recharge cards, because today it breaks my heart when I see some young stars just sitting down on the roadside and they're selling recharge cards. Yes, to an extent it makes life a bit easier for us. I could just go to the road and buy what I need to buy. But I keep telling them, anyone I know, I tell them, look my friend, and I thank God that most of them, they won't run away from that place. I tell them, because one thing, selling telecommunication service on the road does not take you anywhere from there. It's the truth. You don't learn nothing on the road. So I'm not talking about selling recharge cards. No, that's too small. There are some that's okay, they tell you print recharge card and say, yeah, but come on, we're talking of something not just like my friends would say, not my money. Yes. So bulk SMS is another thing that like I rather go into a market where we don't have so many persons that are into it, and I know that I'm going to sell very well. Bulk SMS is these days I have people that they are going into bulk SMS. Yeah, but at least you can make money when you're rightly positioned. Bulk SMS, you can create a bulk SMS platform whereby you can send bulk SMS just to as many persons as you can. One thing you can still do depends on what you do. Think, be innovative. You find out that there may be one or two solutions you may have that you need to get to a lot of crowds that people will have to subscribe. Let's say, for instance, let's say in the medical industry, in the health sector, and you have some certain health terms or tips that you feel that it will be relevant to a day-to-day man, and you're like, okay, tell them, okay, every week you get a health tip for just 100 naira per month. You charge them 100 naira per month, and every week at the end of the day, you find out that you spend less than 20 naira or less than 10 naira sending those bulk SMS to those individuals, but they've already paid you 100 naira. Now let's assume 100 naira times 100%. You know what that means. And at the end of the day, just do your calculations. So you can send bulk SMS, that's another channel. Then another good avenue that is coming up that is not well drilled yet is the voice SMS. Now what we're familiar with is the normal text SMS, but like there's what is called the voice SMS. That voice SMS, you send the SMS through voice, you record the voice or the information you want to send, you send it through a platform. When it calls, it will be like a call. I know some of us have seen some things like that. You feel there is a number calling you. Most times Airtel does that. Only to pick it and like, hey, you're just hearing them telling you something. Yes, those are voice SMS. It's also available for. It's a good avenue for making money. Then also we have the caller tune customization. Most times, so many of us we call somebody. Even some of us, if I call you now, there are certain customized ringtones that's on your callback. Do you know people are making so much money from that? Let me give us a tip. MTN charges to activate that caller tune, you pay 100 naira per month. Now there's a share profit with the owners of that caller tune. Now let's assume that the agreement, as at the last time I knew, is 60-40, which is MTN will collect like 60%, you collect 40% of the profit. So now, if assume that you have over as many persons as you can tell that calls your phone, now you have your own customized caller tune. You find out that you are making so much money. Like let's assume we have Pastor Deboye's caller tune, or Bishop Abioye or Bishop Oyedepo's caller tune. The call and those names are ringing. Those that set up that, they are making money from it. So when they deduct 100 naira from you, MTN is not only sharing that money, MTN is sharing the money with an individual. So on your own end, you will say, okay, look, I want to make money on certain things that I want people to be hearing on my own end, that you don't want every person that so many persons are not into yet. You can make money from that also. Also, we have the mobile content. Now, mobile content is like how would I call it? Now, so many of us are good in writing. You can write certain good content. So you can begin to design certain content for mobile phone users and even for banks and even as an advert. I'm still going to come to that. So you can design certain content. The content it may not just only be like text messages. There are certain applications you can also design, certain content that you can develop or that can be developed that will suit mobile phone industries. Like let's say for instance now you find out that almost out of every 10 Nigerians, 8 of them has a mobile phone. So now how do you reach them? So you can design certain content for them that suits their kind of needs. So that's another avenue. I don't want to spend too much time in those ones because there's much more to learn as we hear. Now, today everybody is going E. When I say everybody is going E, it's in the sense that you have the banking industry today, you have the e-banking. You see, even those that are selling cars today, they also make publications of their cars even online. So everybody's going E, everybody's going E, everybody's going E. So what's the E? Everybody's going internet, everybody's going electronic, everybody's going digital. So the same way, since everybody's going E, even look at banks for instance now, bank is introducing the e-banking. There are a lot of e-payments gateways. So that's another avenue or that other channel to begin to plug yourself in to make money. Now I used to tell my friends in university, I said the only thing that you don't have E yet is the e-prayers. Say just be having a machine pray for you. I remember when one of my friends was telling me, say I wish that I would just have the software that he designed, a software that would just be praying for us. He just designed the software would just be there, the computer, and would just be making prayers for you. But you know that is not possible. God is God. You know. So but like you find out that there's e-payment today and there's e-church. You know, there's e-offering. Our church is part of the drive on that. You can make offerings online. Yes. You see, one thing I keep telling people is technology, God is behind it. So don't think whatever the devil is doing in the industry, then you think that she's the money. Forget it. Devil is an hacker. He always hack into what God has done. Even when God created man, he hacked into man and caused this sin that we're having today. So he hacked into it and planted certain virus. So the virus, let's not concentrate on the bad side of the technology. But let's look at who's behind it. God is behind it. The devil never creates anything. But it's God that is behind the technology and information technology. And I think that's where most of all Christians were really missing it. We think that, devil make us feel that, she's the one behind it, and we'll chill away from it, and he gains ground and be using it for his own purpose. But that will not let that happen again. You know, so the E, another thing with the E is that you can design certain E solutions that could suit a particular sector. Why I'm saying this is simply because there are lots of things that you know that I don't know. There are certain areas where I'm going, there are certain areas I'm seeing, but there are certain areas you are seeing that I don't see. Some of us are into properties business, for instance. How do I make E in property? How do I go E in property? A lot of persons are going there now. You see, most people now, if I go online and say, okay, I want to buy a house in Abuja, I can see houses in Abuja for how much, what is going for, get contact and the rest. So you find out that every particular business that we're into, if you just add an E in front of it, you can make something out of it, no matter what you're doing. No matter what you're doing. Even teaching. You have the E-teachers. I found out that I was telling somebody, I said the most highest paid people in the world, all that's supposed to be are teachers. So we just need to add certain things into the way. Just add an E to the business you're doing. So we also have the mobile placement or mobile advert placement, whereby you can place advertisements, send bulk SMS in placing adverts. There are certain applications that can be designed for adverts. Let's say everybody's going to eat these days. You have the Blackberries. There are certain applications that can be designed to suit that. So now, what is the future? What's the future of telecommunications? Now we are in a stage whereby people can be in their toilets and they are making and receiving calls, and everybody's jonesing, what a good technology. But take it from me when I tell you that soon it's going to face off. What I mean it's going to face off, and it's almost like going. It's still going to be regular, it's still going to be there, but there are going to be additional features. MTN is starting it, but the platform at which it's running, it discourages people. People don't go into it. Like you can be doing a video call. You're calling somebody, depends on the kind of phone you're using. You're seeing the person you're talking with, but they're charging you much more. But why should they be charging me? So that is the future of telecommunications. Future of telecommunication is going into voice and video, whereby you'll be talking and the person is hearing, you are seeing the person and the person is seeing you. Not just only that, you can also do what is called the video, the conferencing. You can do a voice conferencing, you can do a video conferencing, even from your mobile phones or from your mobile devices. So that's part of the future of telecommunications. We have the DID lines. Now DID means direct inward dial. When I say DID, you see, technology or telecommunication, it's beyond MTN, it's beyond Airtel, it's beyond Glo, and it's beyond what we see normally or what we see in the regular market. Now the world is changing. No matter how hard we try, whether you agree or not agreeing, the world is changing. No matter how hard a 5-year-old tries, say, look, I don't want to be a 6-year-old. I want to remain a 5-year-old because they do everything for me. They wash my clothes, they feed me. I don't want to be 6 years old so that I take responsibility. Whether you remain there, you will still have to grow, whether you like it or not, because others will grow past you. And that's one thing we need to understand. Now, in this part of the world, or soon, there's what is called the DID. For instance, now I have, we used to have anyway, it will soon be activated. I have a US line, a UK line, also a Nigeria line. So even somebody in the UK calls me, for instance, that person is in the UK, and he calls me, he rings on my MTN here in Nigeria, and I talk with the person. The person can tell the difference whether I'm in UK at that moment or whether I'm in Nigeria. Oh, 419, that's what goes on in her head. But like, believe me, it's making my business easier. It's giving me more clientele, and I know the kind of business I do. No matter how hard you try, nobody can steal you without your consent. You can't just steal something from me on phone. So, that okay. It's just that they saw those opportunities, and some of those guys, they tend to be like, they act like smart guys. But the truth remains this: when I give somebody my Nigerian MTN line, and the person, if I say my business should be going global, I should be thinking globally. If I say, hey, we are going global, I don't need to be thinking just locally anymore. I should be thinking globally. So now, in that aspect, how do I reposition myself globally? You need to position yourself in every angle, because like, if companies or individuals in the UK or in certain particular markets that you feel that you have your customers, if they see your Nigerian line, it discourages them from calling. You know why? Because it's expensive to call you. So now, why not make life easy for them? You have a UK number or you have a US number. They call that number. It's easier for them. They charge them a normal local call. But that call will be routed directly to your line wherever you are in the world. Whether you're in Nigeria or you're in Ghana, whether even you're in Cameroon or Egypt. Any number you have, that line will be routed to that number. And you find out that you are reachable everywhere. Not like when they call you at a particular time, you are no longer reachable. It's not good for business. So the world is changing. So no matter how hard you try, technology is growing. So it's getting to that level whereby you have those DIDs like you have a particular country number. Even Nigerian number, you can even be using it in UK. Let's say I have a Nigerian DID, for instance, and I'm using it in UK. Somebody in Nigeria can call that line. They charge the person on a normal local call rate, but you are in UK. It's not just roaming. Roaming is beyond roaming. Roaming, they charge you so much more. In fact, so it's beyond roaming. In fact, this tech is cheaper than those roaming. So all those ones are.
Sorry, what's it called?
Direct inward dial. DID.
Oh, sorry.
It's called DID lines. DID. Also, the DID is also close to the international mobile number. International mobile number is not tied to a particular. It's not tied to a particular country. It's an international number. Some people are selling it these days. I see some companies coming from outside and they're trying to sell, but they're selling it so expensively, 65 to 70,000 for just an international line. So now you can have an international line or an international number. Anybody can call you anywhere in the world, and it's quite cheap. That's another business that you could also be looking at going into. And that one also on international numbers, like we can port that number for you these days. Like these days we're talking. I remember, I think I saw it in the news few months ago that Nigerian NCC is trying to initiate what is called number portability. Yes, portability, and like hey, everybody is like, hey, they are crazy. Hey, why are they reporting numbers? Man, whether they make noise or they don't make noise, whether they like it or they don't like it, technology is growing. Number porting is no longer going with international scene. It's just here that we like, hey, we're still arguing with the whole fact. But truth still remains, if I'm tired of using your service, why not be changed to any number I want to? And by the grace of God today, yourselves will provide international numbers, and not only that, we can also port your international numbers to any location you want. Then we have the call termination. Call termination is another angle to make money, in the sense that soon, like part of what we do, part of our own business deal is we do what is called call terminations. Like let's say for instance we have the traffic from Dubai or we have the traffic from Pakistan. There are organizations like, hey, look, like most of us have been to the UK, you find out that there are this UK, US, there are these special call cards they sell that makes you make international calls at a cheap rate. Yes, you find out that all you just need to do is to dial a particular code and like, hey, whatever, forget those other magic it comes to, we know what's behind it. They not particularly H. Those guys are not like MTN or a particular strong telecommunication, but what they do is part of the technology that is the future technology. That's part of what we do, like we call it the VoIP technology. Now with that, it enables you. Those guys, for instance, they meet people like us in Nigeria, because if they are making calls, even from Skype, I discovered that Skype, if you're making Skype international call, outbound, not Skype to Skype, they charge you like, they charge you over like 45 naira per minute. It's expensive. It's outrageous. Yes. So those are part of why we come in, and it makes us smile. What do? We give big boys like that. We give them a channel to terminate their calls through our own network, through our own server, and at the end of the day, we know how much we're paying to these subscribers or to these network organizations. At the end of the day, we're making something for ourselves. Like I know how many mails. There's a lot of mails I don't respond to. There are so many persons I've lost count of how even returning back to them. There's a great demand in call terminations. Then we also have the IVR. IVR is called
Voice response.
Yeah, that is what it is. I'm trying to add something. So anyway, IVR is interactive voice response. It enables your computer to interact with your own mobile network. Let's say, for instance, now, let's say I call a particular number, for instance. Sometimes we've seen it. Most times you call MTN voice services. You find out, let's say, press 1 if you need to do. All those are IVRs. So it's an interactive voice response in the sense that if you want a particular option, you just press immediately on your phone and it activates immediately. It responds without an individual doing that. That's another avenue for us to make money, in the sense that you can come up with an interactive voice response on a particular solution that suits you. How about something on real estate? You know much about that business. How about something in the market? How about like you are running a franchise? How about you are running a franchise like Tantalizer, and you have people who are one of these fast foods? Tell people, look, don't come to the office. Don't come to our shop. Just tell us what you need. Just dial this particular number, and the number calls you back, and like, hey, you're just telling the person, okay, which food you want. On the IVR, you give them a list of menus of the kind of food they want to eat, and you tell them, okay, press 4 if you want shawarma, press 3 if you want hot dog or burger or fried rice and chicken and the rest. And you press that, and they say, okay, how do you want the delivery? Bring it to my office. And you are just in the office without even the customer paying for those calls. I think that's another future in telecommunication that I see. If you don't go into that, I'll be venturing into the next future. At least I'm just sharing some of my thoughts with you. You know, so those are angles. Even anything you're doing, as long as it's customer based. Bank, for instance, now every bank these days, now bank is going ATM. What they're trying to do is to reduce people coming to their office. I keep telling friends and individuals, see, we have gotten to a stage whereby companies should be reducing overhead. Some of your staff need to even be working from home, and not that age, maybe they are working from home, and you pay them on effectiveness. That time, you give them time to have time for their families. They have a relaxed brain to work. Not like running. I can't have my staff that's working, that stays around Masaka or Maraba, Yanya, asking that staff to now be coming to the office and losing. No. Because at the end of the day, I find out that I'm losing. Why? Because the time it takes that person to leave the house, to come to the office, he gets to the office between that 10, 11 o'clock, is all fagged out and tired, productivity has reduced. Then now, when it's 3 o'clock, he's thinking of how he's going to meet the hold up to get back home for 4 o'clock. For 4 o'clock, he's leaving the office. They now check how much of productivity. I think that's really a big problem we're already facing in this country. I go to Lagos sometimes and ask myself questions. 11 o'clock, you still see hold up on the road. 12 o'clock, where are they coming from? And where are they going to? If they're going to the office by this time, what will they do? So, to reduce overhead and to get the best out of your staff, give them a good working environment. They can be in their house, give them, it's cheaper for me to buy them a laptop and give them internet. With their solutions, they have IP. So I can even be in my office and know whether they are doing my work or they are not doing my work. Because all of them will be on a video conferencing and I'm watching everybody. So they are working there. They are happy. Because like, they don't have to rush so much. But at the end of the day, you find out that although this is something that we should be looking for, it's not everybody that can work in that kind of. But it's, if you know, there are certain stuff that they get, there are certain offices that you enter that they must need internet. So those kind of offices, why now begin to rent a very big place, put so much, and that is that. Then we have the mobile interactive billboard. Now, soon in the future, we'll find out that, for instance, now look at banks. Why would you just be having just a normal billboards? You understand? Now, soon you'll be seeing some billboards, even in the airports, certain locations that are like that tells about everything that the company is about. I go there, I just press this, it tells me more about the banking. I want to check my